Hey all, today I will be covering just a few techniques I found interesting in the recent summer playoff game between SK Telecom 1 versus MVP Ozone. I will be doing a series covering more of these professional games to show interesting techniques that you can bring into your solo and duo queue game. And in this video in particular, I will cover a couple of ward mechanics that I found interesting, and these aren't just support ward mechanics. If you haven't watched this series of games yet, I highly recommend you do. There are a very high-level set of games by two of the best teams in Korea, and they're awesome. I will also be spoiling some of it here, so another reason to watch it. During picks and bans, MVP Ozone pulls out an interesting Nasus pick for top lane, and we'll see why in just a moment. MVP Ozone is looking to counter the Singed pick with a certain lane composition to secure early enemy objectives while maintaining and defending their own. Part of this lane composition involves some interesting early warding to make sure that MVP Ozone is in the position they want to be. Zyra doesn't buy a pink ward at level 1, instead she opts for a 4 vision ward and 1 explore ward start. MVP Ozone wants to force Caitlyn and Zyra against Singed because they have high potential to bully Singed, siege the tower, and push the lane early. Sona sets a 3rd ward that will give them a vision of who is coming to bot lane to make sure that they rotate to whichever lane Singed is in. Notice that Jarvan has to come help top lane farm while Nasus sits bot alone for almost his entire laning phase, never needing help. Nasus was a perfect pickup because if he puts just a couple of points into his AoE spell, his E, he clears just fine without taking harass. You will also notice that when this top tower falls, bottom tower is still well over half health. Despite SK Telecom's aggressive teamfight composition, MVP Ozone has already started to snowball an early lane and vision lead to secure global gold and objectives for the team. And even though Nasus is down a few farm at the end of the laning phase, he has an experienced lead as well as an incredible late game scaling. With the whole team moving like a well-oiled machine, Zed first all-ins Karthus right as Elise, Zyra, and Kate are rotating to the bottom side of the map, giving them a serious advantage when securing the dragon. Here is some interesting wordplay by MVP Ozone. I want to point out the incredible amount of early vision we have here, as well as the amount of pink wards. As Elise approaches the river, she places a ward to scout some early vision. MVPO has noticed that Faker holds a pink, and Dade has rotated down to clear the ward at Wraiths, knowing that Faker will see this. Now when Dade pinks, notice that Dandy enters vision just before the enemy ward goes down. So Faker is not sure how dangerous it is. Now here's the really clever part, is that Dade shows back to the lane to give comfort to Faker to go ahead and clear the ward, with Bangy coming up kinda nearby. But Bangy paths around to get ready to gank mid, but the bait is successful and it's too late. Elise is there, and with the incredible gap close and burst capabilities of Elise and Zed, they easily pop Faker as Karthus for first blood. This is a perfect look into the mindset of Korean teams and what sets Korean teams apart from the rest of the world. Without a kill on the board, MVP Ozone has secured a 1.4k gold lead. Using careful wordplay and objective forcing, they snowball their global gold into a fairly easy and secure win to finish out the game.
Hey y'all, just before I end out this video, I just want to say you don't need to be a diamond or a platinum or a challenger player or even a gold player or anything like that to implement some of these interesting tactics that you can use, like 2v1s and like split pushing and watching, these team fighting is not the only way to win games. And a lot of people think that, especially in the lower queues. They think kills and team fighting are the only way to win games, and we really want to get out of that mindset if you want to climb well and quickly and think objective based. And you can carry games better by giving everybody global gold rather than you yourself getting fed, in my opinion. And I think that's why most teams do this. And You know, you're not always going to get fed, but you can always be able to, you know, ward in certain spots, or, you know, I mean, there are a lot of other things you can do, is all I'm saying. And don't always be afraid of Malphite and Amumu during bans. Don't always be afraid of Blitzcrank and Thresh. Like, there are things to take against these guys. Practice your Zyra and harass down Blitz and Thresh in lane. Or, you know, there are other ways to deal with those kind of guys. And, you know, you can play ways to deal with the Amumu and Malphite too. Realize these guys' strengths and weaknesses. And you can use those bans for more productive things. Ban Caitlyn out when you want to play Vayne. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So anyway, guys, just wanted to say, like, you know, a lot of people are going to give you guff when you try to do shit like this, like split pushing, I guess. You know, they go, oh, well, you know, you'll be like, hey, maybe, you know, this works at high level play. And they're like, well, this isn't high level play. It's like, don't take that as an answer. That's stupid. Anyway. See ya.
Thanks, Summoners, and stay tuned for my next breakdown.